A veteran physician with over 30 years inside the medical system, specialising in family and emergency medicine, was found dead, just days after blowing the whistle on one of the industry's most explosive secrets, the hidden link between parasites and cancer, and the suppressed cure Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about, ivermectin. This is explosive, and the consequences are grave. Because if what Dr. Karen Ruthman uncovered is true, then Big Pharma isn't just failing us, it's actively complicit in sacrificing the health of millions, knowingly suppressing a cure to keep cancer patients locked in a cycle of treatment and profit. Everyone deserves to hear the truth, and tonight, we uncover the story so dangerous, they're willing to kill to keep it buried. Before we dive in, join the TPV free speech community over on Soju. Soju is a digital space where ideas and information can take place without any annoying algorithms or restrictive rules getting in the way of free expression. For over 2 decades, Dr. Karen Ruthman observed something that most of her peers ignored or dismissed entirely: patients with strange persistent symptoms, chronic illnesses that didn't respond to conventional treatment, and in far too many cases, cancer with no clear origin. What did they all have in common? Parasites. She began to see a pattern, one so consistent, so alarming, she could no longer chalk it up to coincidence. After years of quiet observation, she decided to formally investigate the link. And what she found shook her to her core. The connection was real. The data was clear. Parasites weren't just hijacking the human body, they were triggering cancer. And the worst part? There were already cheap, effective Nobel Prize-winning drugs that killed them. Drugs like ivermectin. But the medical establishment wasn't interested. In fact, they were openly hostile. Because if doctors start talking about parasites, and worse, curing patients with off-patent drugs, Big Pharma's entire house of cards comes crashing down. Chronic disease is their cash cow. A cured patient is a lost customer. So, she kept her research secret. So dangerous, she didn't even tell her husband, friends or family. But when she started quietly scheduling interviews with alt health media, ready to go public, ready to blow the whistle, everything changed. She was threatened, warned to stop immediately or face the destruction of her career, her license, her name. But she refused to back down. And then, just days before her first planned interview, tragedy struck. She died in a house fire. Official reports called it a freak accident. But those who knew the case closely saw something else. A rushed investigation, key evidence ignored, witnesses never interviewed. A cover-up.
Now at 6, the latest on the investigation into an overnight fire that killed a prominent local doctor at a home in Plantation.
CBS News manager Peter Danch is live for us there. And Peter, still an active scene where you are?
That's right, Elliot and Lauren. In fact, it is still sealed off for yellow crime scene tape. You know, it's been more than 14 hours since this fire started. We've seen crime scene investigators here all day. Now, a friend of the victim told us she wants to know how this could have happened. Vivian Dingman told me she woke up moments after the blaze broke out just before 4 in the morning at her neighbor's home in Plantation Acres, just east of the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
The smoke was horrendous. Even in our backyard, it was very heavy.
Dingman said there was a swift response.
The fire department and the police department, they were here in minutes. They all, took charge and everything really well.
Now Dingman is horrified after she heard her friend, Dr. Karen Ruthman, died in a fire at the home. Ruthman had specialized in family and emergency medicine for 30 years.
What really happened to Dr. Karen Ruthman? And what was so dangerous about her research that someone might kill to keep them quiet? As Dr. Lee Merritt reveals, the NIH isn't ignorant, they're fully aware. They've conducted study after study. The truth? Cancer isn't just rogue cells, it's caused by intracellular parasites. So the question isn't whether they know, it's why they're hiding it. Why is the entire medical establishment working so hard to keep this buried?
Because another dirty little secret that's come out in all this is that we've been ignoring the issue of parasites and cancer. The NIH is not, because they've got 1 million studies on ivermectin and cancer. But doctors all over the world now are showing videos, and there was a German research project years ago in the 90s, I think, showing cancer was parasites, intracellular parasites. Right. If you look at a cancer metastasis, like or an adenocarcinoma of the bowel, for example, or breast cancer under the light microscope, it's essentially indistinguishable from these parasite egg sacs. Now, Brian Ardis, who's a chiropractor but's very interested and very good researcher on this stuff, he said he has a friend who's a 40-year Egyptian parasitologist. And he asked him, and he pointed this out to him. He said, hey, I've been looking at this cancer and versus the parasite egg sacs, and they look identical under the microscope. And this guy got real wide-eyed and said, in 40 years in parasitology, not one oncologist has made that association, but we talk about it all the time in parasitology circles. I translate that as saying they know that cancer is parasites. They're not speaking because they don't want to lose their funding.
Curious what parasite egg sacs actually look like inside the human body? You don't have to imagine it. Just take a look at this high magnification image of a tumour. What you're going to see isn't random tissue, it's organised, structured, like something laid there with purpose. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
What you're about to see is the scientific proof that's being silenced all over the world by the big mafia that we know here, Big Pharma. Have you ever seen what cancer looks like inside of a colon? You're about to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your friend Janelle Rodriguez, and I am showing you here the evidence that doctors are sharing with us after this patient came in for the removal of several tumors inside of his colon. I know you just saw that. We're going to repeat this again. Look what's inside of this tumor. Just very cautiously look. Do you see that? It's full of parasites. The tumor is full of parasites. They are encapsulated. They are being rounded up by your body so they don't run freely. That is what cancer is. Cancer is not going to kill you. Chemotherapy and radiation to try to kill parasites will.
Big Pharma knows the truth, and they've known it for years. The cure isn't some billion-dollar breakthrough. It's already here. Cheap, safe, and even Nobel Prize winning. We're talking about ivermectin, the anti-parasitic that was smeared, censored, and buried by the establishment during the COVID pandemic. Why? Because if people knew what it really does, the pharmaceutical empire would collapse overnight. More on the parasite cancer connection in just a moment. But first, an important word from the people making real solutions available for real people, despite the system's attempts to put them out of business. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer.